Okay, so today I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Instead of focusing on code, I'm going to show you an application that I've written using JavaFX. This application allows me to query Kafka topics. I can stream the data from the topic, I can sort it, I can time window it, and view the data in a table format. So let's take a look at what we have. I have three queries defined here, and I'll show you in a little bit how we build the query. So I'm just going to select each one of these, and I'm going to run the three queries. And what we'll see is that the data starts to populate from each topic. Now, what you're seeing here is pretty much standard JavaFX layouts and controls. I did a little bit of styling on the buttons, but overall you're seeing pretty much out of the box JavaFX layouts. So what we can do now with this is we can sort the data, in this case by the Kafka offset. I can drag and drop the columns. I can also, within this view, I can go in, and if I know the key that I'm searching for, I can simply search on that key and the table will be filtered. Also within the query, if I want to just search for some text within the message, I can type the word message and then simply type in a search term from the messages that I want to search for, and I get all the messages that have the word precip in it. So that's the query view. That's the view of the data from the topic. So let's take a look at how we would go about building one of these queries. Okay, so let's create a new query. Basically what we're going to do is hit the new button. That'll bring us into this form where we can enter the name of our new query. We can then select a connection from existing connections that we have saved, or we can use the new button to create a brand new connection. If you're connecting to Confluent Cloud, you can select this checkbox, enter your credentials. We do have a nice password field here. That's a standard JavaFX control. We're just going to select my existing localhost. And now you can see that we have a list of topics. Basically, when I selected the connection, it went out and connected to the broker, pulled the list of topics. I'm going to filter this list to grab the Tempest raw data. The list here is a controls FX component. It allows us to filter the list. For this query, I'm going to use a date range. I'm going to select the 9th. These date controls are standard JavaFX components. I'm going to filter from 9 a.m. on the 9th to 10 a.m. on the 9th. And so this query is pretty much ready to go. In this particular case, we don't have a schema for this topic, so I'm not going to show the schema or the fields right now. I'm just going to run the query. So when we run this, you can see that it went out, it pulled the data off the topic. You can see that our records start at 9 a.m. And if we sort this, they end just before 10 a.m. So that's a basic query that this particular application can do. Most everything you saw was just standard JavaFX components except for the filtered list. These popovers are also from the Controls FX project. They allow you to very easily, with just a couple lines of code, create a popover. I use them in this case to add some contextual help to the project. So let's move on to seeing what a query would look like that has a Avro schema associated with it. So let's define a query that uses an Avro schema. So I'm going to call it to do. Again, I'm going to select localhost and a topic called to do items. I'm going to use a date range from the first. Then I'm going to go over here to the schema files. I'm going to select Avro, and I'm going to go out to the operating system and select the schema file. Once I have that, I can go over to the Fields tab, and now the schema has been parsed, and the types associated with that schema are in this drop-down. I can select to do item. I can then add columns that I want in the output and run the query. And you'll see that we've pulled the data from the topic. We've added columns for the assigned to and the party planner. And that's all there is to defining a query that has an Avro schema associated with it. Now let's take a look at what we can do with multiple Avro schemas. Let's say that you have Avro schemas that are related to one another and you have multiple files that you need to pull into the project in order for them to parse correctly. You can go out and select multiple files from the operating system and they'll automatically be pulled into the project. Now, say for some reason they came into the project and they were in the wrong order. You can drag and drop these to reorder the schemas and they will parse automatically as they are reordered. I just wanted to show that because it's a nice little feature of JavaFX that allows you to reorder the items of a list by dragging and dropping. It wasn't terribly hard to do, so I just wanted to show that it is possible and it's pretty cool. Of course, in this view, I have checkboxes here, so if you made a mistake and you pulled in the wrong files, you can of course remove them. Okay, that's all I have for today. What you saw here is what I would call a good start. You saw some very basic features that perform pretty well. Overall, this project shows off some nice JavaFX features that you get right out of the box. The table view is incredibly powerful. It can pull in a lot of data. I've seen table views with over 800,000 records in them perform very well. Overall, JavaFX is a very powerful UI toolkit and allows you to do some really nice things. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.